The buzz around Baltimore has shifted in a way fans are not used to. And that alone makes this moment feel different, for the first time in what feels like forever. The organization is navigating real uncertainty at the top, weighing options, interviewing big names, and quietly reshaping its future around the league. People are paying attention because this is not just another opening. This is a franchise with a strong identity, elite talent on both sides of the ball, and expectations that never really dip. No matter the year, what makes this process even more fascinating is how quickly familiar faces are circling back into the conversation, coaches with past connections. Shared systems and overlapping philosophies are suddenly part of the discussion again. And that matters in a league where continuity and trust can define success. The idea of pairing leadership with familiarity is hard to ignore. There is a sense that whoever steps in next will not be starting from zero, but instead plugging into something that already has structure, culture, and star power. One name that keeps hovering over these conversations is Mike McDaniel. And not just as a potential head coach around the league. There is growing belief that the smartest offensive minds are becoming more selective, prioritizing stability and fit over titles and labels. The thought of choosing an elite offensive coordinator role with the right quarterback, instead of walking into a messy head coaching situation, is gaining traction. And Baltimore checks a lot of boxes in that scenario, with a dynamic quarterback capable of stressing defenses in every possible way. The attraction is obvious. McDaniel's reputation as a creative offensive architect is well established, and the idea of him designing an offense around a uniquely gifted quarterback naturally sparks imagination. This is not just about flashy concepts or trick plays. It is about efficiency, spacing, tempo, and putting defenders in constant conflict in the right environment. That kind of mind can elevate an offense from dangerous to downright terrifying, especially when paired with a roster already built to win now. There is also an understanding that taking an offensive coordinator role does not limit long-term ambition. In many ways, it can enhance it. One strong season, one offense that clearly outperforms expectations, and the same coach suddenly becomes one of the most desirable head coaching candidates in the league. That path offers patience, credibility, and leverage, especially when the alternative might be stepping into chaos with little margin for error. The conversation becomes even more intriguing when defensive-minded leadership enters the picture. Pairing a commanding defensive head coach with a forward-thinking offensive coordinator creates balance, clarity, and stability. The head coach sets the tone, controls the locker room, and builds the culture, while the offense is entrusted to someone whose sole focus is innovation and execution. When those two sides respect each other and share a common vision, the result can be seamless. A coach like Robert Saleh represents that type of presence. Known for intensity, accountability, and defensive discipline, he embodies the kind of leadership that resonates in a physical, hard-nosed football city. If a pairing like that were to materialize, the ripple effect could be massive. Defensive players know what is expected. Offensive players know the system will be modern and aggressive. Everyone knows who is in charge and why, of course. One of the realities of hiring elite coordinators is knowing they might not stay long. Success breeds opportunity, and a coordinator who unlocks a special season is often rewarded with offers elsewhere. That is the cost of excellence. But it is also a problem most teams would happily accept. The alternative is stagnation. And Baltimore has never been a franchise content with standing still. All of this unfolds against the backdrop of a changing landscape elsewhere. A longtime head coach preparing for a new chapter in New York adds another layer to the story. His departure signals the end of an era and the beginning of something unfamiliar, both for him and for the team he leaves behind. For the coach, it is a chance to reshape another franchise, bring stability, and establish credibility in a market hungry for consistency. For Baltimore, it is permission to evolve. That evolution is not about tearing everything down. It is about refinement, direction, and making sure the next voice at the top aligns with the roster, the city, and the expectations that come with both. The pieces are already in place. Elite talent, draft capital, and flexibility give this organization options that many others simply do not have. That is why so many around the league view this opening as the most attractive opportunity available. When you look at it through that lens, the patience makes sense. There is no need to rush. The right decision here could define the next decade, not just the next season. Whether that means betting on a defensive leader, an offensive visionary, or a carefully constructed partnership between the two, the stakes are enormous. And as these conversations continue behind closed doors, The sense remains that whatever direction Baltimore chooses next will send a clear message about who they want to be moving forward as the focus slowly shifts toward what comes next. The ripple effects of this coaching change continue to spread across the league. When a coach with a long track record and a strong identity moves on, it forces everyone involved to re-examine assumptions. Players start thinking about scheme fits. Assistants start evaluating loyalty versus opportunity. Front offices reassess timelines. In Baltimore's case, the organization now finds itself at the center of that conversation, not reacting to chaos but carefully shaping the next phase. What stands out most is how rare this level of optionality truly is. Most teams entering a coaching search are doing so from a place of desperation, coming off losing seasons, roster uncertainty, or fractured locker rooms. That is not the situation here. This roster is built to compete immediately, with cornerstone players already in place, and a clear identity established over years of consistency. The next coach is not being asked to fix everything, but to elevate what already works. That reality changes the type of candidates who become interested. Instead of viewing the job as a risk, many see it as a platform, a chance to work with elite talent, a supportive front office, and a fan base that understands physical football. That combination is powerful, especially for coaches who believe in their system and want the environment to prove it at the highest level. The offensive side of the ball remains the biggest talking point, largely because of the quarterback. When you have a player whose athletic ability bends defensive rules, the entire league watches closely to see how he is deployed. Every coordinator who believes in spacing, motion, and adaptability imagines what they could build around that skill set. It becomes less about fitting the quarterback into a scheme, and more about letting the scheme orbit around him. That is why offensive creativity matters so much in this search. Not creativity for the sake of flash, but creativity rooted in discipline. The best defenses marry structure with freedom, allowing the quarterback to improvise within a framework that always provides answers. When done right, it forces defenses to defend every blade of grass, every second of the play clock, and every potential outcome. That kind of stress adds up over the course of a season. At the same time, there is a deep respect for what defense has meant to this franchise historically. Physicality, communication, and adaptability have long been hallmarks of success here. Any head coach stepping into this role must understand that balance. Even an offensive-minded leader cannot neglect that side of the ball, just as a defensive leader must empower the offense with modern thinking and trust. This is where leadership style becomes just as important as scheme. Players respond to clarity. They want to know what is expected, how they will be used, and where accountability lies. Coaches who can articulate a vision and back it up with consistency earn trust quickly. In a locker room filled with veterans and emerging stars, that trust is non-negotiable. Meanwhile, the departure of the former head coach to New York opens a new chapter for him as well. His move is less about chasing legacy and more about restoring order. The Giants have been searching for stability for years, cycling through philosophies without finding long-term footing. Bringing in a proven leader signals a desire to reset the culture, establish standards, and build something sustainable, rather than chasing short-term fixes. From Baltimore's perspective, the separation feels mutual and timely. Sometimes, even successful partnerships reach a natural conclusion. Fresh voices bring new ideas, and new ideas can unlock different levels of performance. That does not erase the past or diminish what was accomplished, but it does acknowledge that evolution is necessary in a league that never stands still. As interviews continue and internal discussions deepen, there is a growing sense that this decision will reflect more than just football strategy. It will reflect values, how much autonomy to give assistants, how collaborative the staff should be, how aggressive to be in adapting to league trends versus doubling down on identity. These choices shape daily operations, not just game day results. The margin for error is small because expectations are high. This is not a rebuild, and patience from the outside world will be limited. Whoever steps into the role will be judged immediately, fairly or not, against the standard that already exists. That pressure can scare some candidates away, but it energizes others who believe they are ready. For the moment, in the end, the most important part of this process is alignment. Alignment between the front office and the head coach, alignment between philosophy and personnel, alignment between short-term goals and long-term vision. When those elements line up, success becomes repeatable instead of fleeting. And as Baltimore moves closer to its decision, Everything suggests the organization understands exactly what is at stake, and why getting this right matters far beyond a single season. There is also an unspoken understanding that this next hire will influence player decisions moving forward. Veterans want to know what kind of football they are committing to, how their skills will be maximized, and whether the vision matches their own competitive timeline. Younger players look for development, clarity, and consistency. A coaching staff that communicates well and adapts without losing its core principles can create buy-in across the entire roster, and that buy-in often shows up on Sundays, behind the scenes. The chess match continues with assistants and coordinators monitoring every development. Some are waiting to see which direction the head coaching choice leans before making their own moves. Others see this as an opportunity to grow within a stable organization rather than chase titles. Elsewhere, that internal continuity can be just as valuable as any outside hire, especially when the goal is to transition smoothly without losing momentum as this process unfolds. One thing remains clear: the league is watching closely. The decision made here will not exist in a vacuum. It will set trends, influence future hires, and potentially redefine how top candidates view patience versus prestige. And with so much talent already in place, the next steps taken will shape how far this team can push its ceiling in the seasons ahead. Ultimately, this moment feels less like an ending and more like a recalibration. The foundation is strong, the expectations are clear, and the opportunity is rare. The Ravens are not searching for an identity, they are refining it. And as the final pieces begin to fall into place, the sense around the organization is that whatever comes next will not be accidental, but carefully constructed to keep Baltimore exactly where it expects to be, competing at the highest level year after year. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the league, the Baltimore Ravens appear poised to shake up the AFC with their latest acquisition. Sources close to the team suggest that a former rival, long known for his intensity and fiery presence on the field, is now donning the purple and black, raising eyebrows across the football world. The signing, still officially unconfirmed, has fans and analysts alike buzzing with speculation about the impact this could have on Baltimore's roster and the wider conference. The player in question has a reputation for turning games on their head, combining raw athleticism with an instinct for making pivotal plays at critical moments. Over the years, he has been a thorn in the side of the Ravens' defense, and now the tables may be turning. Conversations among insiders indicate that the team sees him as a potential game changer, someone who could bring both skill and leadership to a squad looking to assert itself in a highly competitive AFC landscape. Ravens supporters have reacted with a mix of excitement and disbelief. Social media platforms are flooded with speculation, memes, and heated debates about how this former adversary will fit into Baltimore's system. Will he adapt seamlessly to the team style, or will clashes with the coaching philosophy emerge? Analysts point out that his experience in high-pressure games could be invaluable, but integrating a player of his stature always carries risks. This rumored signing also has ripple effects for the wider conference. Opponents who once enjoyed a psychological edge now face a new challenge, a player intimately familiar with their tactics, now wearing the colors they once opposed. It's the kind of twist that could redefine rivalries and force teams to rethink strategies. In the upcoming months, while nothing is set in stone, insiders hint that Baltimore is moving quickly to finalize the deal, believing this could be a statement signing that signals the franchise's ambition to dominate the AFC. If it goes through, the former rival turned Raven might not just change the team, but also alter the balance of power across the conference. For now, speculation reigns, but one thing is certain: the AFC could be in for one of the most intriguing shakeups in recent memory. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.